Welcome to Pollen Weather by Pollen Wise App. It's Thursday, July 2nd. I'm Landon Bunderson, and this is the place for daily allergy news and forecasts. For a lot of the country, grass season is tapering off and weed season is coming on. Other than winter, this is the time of year when pollen is lowest for most of you. So what if the Pollen Wise App says pollen is low and you're still suffering? Let's talk about that after the forecast. The forecasted high pollen levels for today are showing pockets of very high pollen dotting the country. The only region that might be safe from very high pollen levels are the states on the East Coast. The rest of you should check your conditions on the Pollen Wise app. Looking at the wind map, Nebraska, Montana, and the Dakotas are going to have windy conditions today, which may cause pollen and mold levels to rise above seasonal norms. We really need to get some sensors set up out there. Eastern states, mold shouldn't be a problem for you, but Albuquerque, Wasatch Front, and Sacramento are going to see very high mold levels. Mississippi, Kansas, and Montana will see rainfall today, pushing pollen and mold levels down to zero anywhere a quarter inch of rain falls. A few small fires in Southern California are keeping the air quality poor. Also, the Great Lakes states are experiencing degraded air quality. Most of the country is going to see temperatures in the 90s. Only southern Arizona and Las Vegas will break 100 today. Okay, let's say you've downloaded the Pollen Wise app, checked the current conditions, and the app says the pollen and mold are moderate or low, but you've been having a major allergic reaction. What does that mean? How do you proceed? Here are a few things to consider when your allergy symptoms don't seem to match the data on the app. First, make sure your location setting is correct. This is a simple one, but occasionally people choose the right city name, but the wrong state, or the current location hasn't updated yet. It's just a good practice to double check. The next thing you can do is check the recent pollen and mold level history. Even if you just started suffering, you might have been exposed to high pollen or mold levels a few hours earlier. It's very possible that there was a delay in your allergic response. Next, you might have picked up some pollen or mold from something you've touched recently. Pollen and mold can collect on car seats, lawn chairs, bleachers, or even your bicycle seat. It can be stuck to your clothes, hats, or a windowsill. A good rule of thumb is if something looks dusty, there's at least some pollen or mold in that dust. Next, consider a very localized airborne exposure. There are occasions when pollen is really high right where you are, but everywhere else is low. It only takes a quick YouTube search to find an instance where someone stirred up a lot of very localized pollen by cutting down a tree or driving through a weedy patch. We mentioned weedy patches on yesterday's news. Check it out. Also, consider your indoor air. Your HVAC system could be recirculating mold, dust, and pollen, even if the outdoor air is clean. Make sure to change your filters and consider an air purifier. Clean your sheets and make sure the carpets are clean. Last, you can consider the possibility that you are allergic to something other than pollen and mold. It could be pets, dust mites, or cockroaches. It could also be a sinus infection or some other ailment. There are a lot of things that cause a runny, stuffy nose. If you've considered all of these possibilities and you're still stumped, you might want to visit an allergy doctor. They have tests and tools to help you better identify what's causing your symptoms. I hope this helps those of you who are suffering even in low pollen and mold situations. Download the app, use the data, and check out our Solutions tab for more ideas on how to manage your symptoms. Also, remember to like and subscribe to this channel.